Here at the Austin airport, you can see it's pretty busy with people coming and going, but that's not unusual for this time of year. And despite the ground delays on Sunday, it's business as usual. With the ongoing government shutdown, future travel is very likely to be impacted. Yeah, good morning. It looks like those 4-person staffing minimums are here to stay for now. After labor negotiations, the city and the firefighters union have reached a handshake agreement. If you couldn't tell by the smiles on everyone's faces, it is officially Christmas in Texas. I'm here at Amigos in Azul, which is an annual shopping spree right before the holidays with kids in need. And joining me now is Officer Caba. What does it mean to you to be able to give back to the kids in the community?
It means a lot to me.
What started as a night of celebrating with her friends for the Texas A&M game ended with a Texas A&M student being found unresponsive here at this off-campus apartment complex. Now police are piecing together what happened as the family waits for answers. We just received the files of the 911 calls made in Kerr County during those July 4th floods. We've listened to over 400 of them here at KXAN to get better insight into what happened that morning.
TSA pre-check down the hallway.
After several ground delays at the Austin airport, Austin Bergstrom employees are the calm in the storm during a time where they have little control.
We are here to help with wayfinding, crowd control, and line management. So for the most part, for us, it's kind of a waiting game to see what's the day going to be like under this shutdown.
Here at the Austin airport, you can see it's pretty busy with people coming and going, but that's not unusual for this time of year. And despite the ground delays on Sunday, it's business as usual. With the ongoing government shutdown, future travel is very likely to be impacted. AUS has seen at least 6 ground delays since the government shutdown started, as the FAA works to reduce the impacts of air traffic controllers not coming into work since they aren't getting paid.
None of them can manage missing 2 paychecks. And if the government doesn't open, the notice will be another big fat zero.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy urging Democrats and Republicans to reach a deal.
And you're going to see more of them probably make the decisions of funding their families, putting food on their table, gas in their cars, versus coming into work.
When these delays happen,
it's when we start to see lines, it's when we start to see congestion in the terminal. And that's where our staff will come out on site and just help make sure that lines are orderly and that people know where they're going and how they need to get there.
For many travelers, early Monday,
no lines, it was really smooth. Great travel day.
Paisley Porter, KXAN News. $20 billion. That's the promise behind Proposition 4, one of the newest bills passed in the Texas legislature.
It dedicates just $1 billion in existing state sales taxes for 20 years to the Texas Water Fund.
Beginning in 2027, the Texas Water Fund will receive $1 billion each year to help communities across the state handle their growing water needs. The new initiative targets some of the state's biggest challenges, from finding new sources of water to preparing for future droughts and floods.
I think we really need to think deliberately about where we can best spend this money, at what time, for the greatest return.
And with billions on the line, Austin is already outlining their priorities.
One of our priority projects would likely be, expanding our reclaimed water system, which takes recycled water and distributes it throughout the city for non-potable purposes.
So what does that mean for the average Texan? Proposition 4 will fund repairs to our aging water infrastructure, fixing the pipes that cause boil water notices and disrupt our drinking water.
Some people call this just a drop in the bucket, but we look at Proposition 4 and see that it's a meaningful down payment on what needs to be done for our water future.
In Austin, Paisley Porter, reporting Texas TV. Construction is everywhere in Austin, and the city is launching a new AI tool to cut the zoning review process time in half for residential buildings. Developers say this was long overdue.
The city should have become more efficient with their processes.
Here at the Modern in downtown Austin, it is clearly a beautiful property, but it costs a lot of money. With 56 stories, over 300 residences, and on less than half an acre, the developer Burns tells me that if his permitting time would have been cut in half, it would have saved him millions.
That's pretty typical to go through a multi-year process for a site development permit. It's just a lot of back and forth.
Over the last year, this back and forth has led the city to partner with Archistar, to utilize their AI tools.
This will be an applicant tool that will allow applicants to generate a preliminary plan review using artificial intelligence.
During the beta testing phase, the city says they were able to cut approval times by as much as 50% and provide higher quality feedback on building plans.
And the easier that you make it for a developer to create new housing, the more that you can shrink the time it takes, the higher the likelihood that more developers will build more product.
And Burns says that could lead to lower housing prices, helping to make Austin more affordable. Paisley Porter, KXAN News. Hundreds of 911 calls now released. A look into the 4th of July floods as they were happening. Hundreds of 911 calls released in the last 24 hours by Kerr County detail frantic moments. People desperately calling for help during the July 4th flooding that claimed the lives of at least 117 people in that county alone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paisley Porter. Our KXAN's Kevin Bosker spoke with one of the people who made a call to save his friend's life. The month after the devastating floods, the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country announced a pledge of $40 million to help rebuild, establishing the Kerr County Relief Fund. According to the foundation, as of October, more than $100 million have been raised, and of that, more than 700 families and 200 small businesses have received support. To learn more about the fund and other efforts to help those impacted get back on their feet, you can head to KXAN.com. In an update tonight on 2 men found dead at a Georgetown home, police say now it's being investigated as a homicide. A neighbor called police around 10:30 last night saying there was a fire, smoke, and alarms going off at a home near Pipe Creek Lane. That's close to Ronald Reagan and Williams Drives. When first responders arrived, they found the homeowner dead outside an entryway of a neighboring home. He's been identified as 76-year-old James Yost. And another man was also found who's been identified as 33-year-old Kenneth Clanton. Police say he also lived at the address. Officers also releasing new details saying that the fire was set intentionally. Police say they have a person of interest in custody. That person was pulled over this afternoon for something unrelated. Police say there is no threat to the public. Authorities in Williamson County say that an 8-year-old girl who was missing has been safely located. The Williamson County Sheriff's Office say Candace Doyle was found in Round Rock after last being seen yesterday afternoon. In the Facebook post announcing that she'd been found, the Sheriff's Office say that their investigation into the disappearance was still ongoing. Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing East Plano Islamic Center, or EPIC, and its leaders in North Texas for alleged securities fraud. This comes after months of fierce scrutiny from GOP officials and commentators over a planned Muslim community outside of Dallas. This lawsuit is over what a residential development the center was supporting, previously known as Epic City, but now renamed The Meadow. It was meant to include things like a mosque, residential housing, and a faith-based K-12 school. Our partners at the Texas Tribune report Paxton accused Community Capital Partners, a private group the state attorney general alleged Epic founded, of failing to register as a securities dealer and committing securities fraud by misrepresenting proposed development's location and the leader's compensation. A week from today, Central Texans will head to the polls again for several local runoff elections. These races advanced to a runoff because no candidate secured more than 50% of the vote back in November. Here's a quick breakdown. Buda City Council District C between Kimberly Goodman and Jeffrey Morales. Kyle Mayer between Robert Rizzo and Yvonne Flores-Kale. Kyle City Council District 1 between incumbent Bear Heiser and Courtney Goza. Leander City Council Place 3 between Natomi Blair and Anna Yalon. Pflugerville Mayor between Doug Weiss and Pat McCord. And finally, San Marcos City Council Place 2 between Josh Paulsek and incumbent Saul Gonzalez. The runoff of the election is set for December 13th, and for the full election results and more voting details, head to our website. Austin ISD held a community meeting today to speak with families about the consolidation and boundary plans they have proposed. Superintendent Matias Segra spent the morning answering questions from parents and teachers in the district. Since the consolidation and boundary change was first presented in October, there have been some changes. The district says they're continuing to take community feedback. A final presentation of the plan will be presented to the board for a vote on November 20th. We've been following the plans and have more on KXAN.com. U.S. airlines continue to cancel flights after the Federal Aviation Administration's order to reduce air traffic. This is all due to the government shutdown, and today there were more than 1,000 flights canceled. The FAA said the reductions will be staggered. They started at 4% of flights yesterday at 40 airports and will be bumped up again on Tuesday before hitting 10% of flights on Friday. That list includes some of the biggest airports in the country, and though Austin Bergstrom is not on that list, the airport did say changes to flight schedules are expected. The governor of California stopped by the Lone Star State today as a part of a rally held by Texas Democrats. The visit comes after California voters approved a new congressional district boundary Tuesday, which had originally been proposed in response to redistricting efforts in Texas. Newsom's visit comes just a day before Governor Abbott is set to make a special announcement tomorrow in Houston. The annual studio tour is officially underway with more than 700 artists showcasing and selling their work. It's a self-guided, free tour that spans more than 300 locations in Austin. The event started in 2003 as a grassroots effort to connect neighbors through art. It was created and grown by Big Medium, a local nonprofit that supported contemporary art and artists in Texas until it shut down earlier this year. Almost Real Things, an Austin-based magazine and event series, took over operations of the Austin Studio Tour this year. The citywide celebration started today and continues tomorrow and next weekend from noon to 6 p.m. daily. Thousands of people gathered on Congress Avenue outside the Capitol today for the 30th annual Texas Book Festival. Here's a look at today's event. Those in attendance got to stop by and see some of their favorite authors, as well as pick up some new books. Some of the headliners included Chelsea Handler and Matthew McConaughey. The weekend event also welcomes more than 300 authors from Texas and beyond.
It has everything from children's story times to a C-SPAN tent for hard-hitting nonfiction for the adults. We have a cooking tent, a poetry tent. Of course, we feature lots of incredible Texas authors in both our Texas tent and in and around the Capitol. We have programming there as well.
We did catch up with a few people who stopped by today. Here's what they had to say.
It just has a lot of stuff for everyone. It really does.
Like I've found a couple of authors here, got to meet them, see what books they have.
The event is free unless you go to a ticketed session for select authors. If you missed today, don't worry, the fun kicks off again tomorrow.